And the relentless barrage of rain and snow may be, too much of a good thing. It is true. You can have too much of a good thing. That's where California water managers must find a delicate balance after years of what we call mega drought. Fox 40 Sacramento reporter Karma Dickerson looks at the future of this critical resource amidst an incredibly wet winter.
California's reservoirs are getting so much water. Water managers are having to let some go to make room for more expected rains and snowmelt.
It's always difficult managing water in California. Typically, it's either too much or too little. We expect that our reservoir will be full at some point in the June timeframe.
It's been 3 years since John James with the Yuba Water Agency has been able to say that of New Bullards Bar Reservoir in Yuba County. The parade of precipitation pummeling the state has been a short-term drought game changer.
We have seen parts of the Central Valley with up to 5 categories of drought monitor change, going all the way from D4 to D nothing.
In other words, extreme drought in October, the beginning of the water year, to no drought in that area as of last week. In fact, half of Californians now live in an area where there's no drought at all.
That is truly incredible for just a short period of time.
Brad Rippey, the lead author of last week's drought monitor, says though the last 10 weeks of storms have been efficient in increasing the state's stored water, it's important to remember 8 of the last 11 years have been drought years, leaving more than reservoirs in need of refilling.
Some of the longer term indicators like groundwater have not fully recovered. There has been some overpumping over the years. It's debatable whether that storage potential will ever fully come back.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.